All right, guys, try not to embarrass me in front of my guest. Act like you've done this before. You may know him from his films such as 40 Gays and 40 Nights or Men in Back, but you may also know him as one half of the podcast, Watch What Crappens. Please welcome Ronnie Karam.
Well, hello. Thank you so much for having me. It's so great to meet you finally.
I know, I'm so happy you're here. We were just having a lengthy discussion about our Botox
Yeah,
routines.
yeah.
And as they know, you guys listened to my Jersey recap. I literally had to cut my Jersey recap in half so I could go get my Botox because I was running late for an appointment.
I think that that's an actually really valid excuse to cut shit in half. Those
Thank
Botox
you.
ladies, I had to go over there today and they were like, oh, it's raining, so we're off until the weekend. I was like, it's raining? What the hell? Get your ass to the office and shoot my face up, please.
Was it
You
raining
gotta get them when you
inside?
can get them. That's
What?
what I said. I mean, it's raining, okay? I'm in Texas. It's always raining, Whatever. You got to get them while you can, man. If it's the
Oh,
middle of a
yeah.
Jersey recap, get them.
Here at She Speaks Bravo, we believe that Bravo TV is a great form of self-care and therapy. Look at me. I've been using it for over a decade, and I am a complete mess. That's me, by the way. I'm Emily, and I'm your host on this journey.
What is this, honey?
I love that. If you're not already subscribed, get subscribed and hit that notification bell because I'm releasing new episodes at least 3 times a week.
You fool.
That's my opinion!
I talk Bravo, I talk true crime, and sometimes I talk a little scripted. So whatever you're here for, I hope you enjoy the show. Okay, so I like to go through and do like a State of the Union on each cast member, just so I know like where people stand. I kind of already know where you stand, but just in case people are living under a rock and don't know where you stand with the cast, I'm going to go through, I'm going to say a name, and you're going to give me, I guess we could do like where you stand on them with Ultimate Girls Trip this season. Okay?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Gizelle.
Troublemaker. Look, Giselle's always a troublemaker. She's a mess maker. I used to be really anti-Giselle since season 1 because she has this like meanness about her that seems uncalled for. Like I like the fun shade. I don't like the trying to ruin people's life shade.
Yeah.
But she's been humbled quite a bit, over the years, but still keeps up the messiness. And normally I don't mind. Like I've learned to just be like, that's Gizelle. She's funny. I can see what she brings to the table. I think she's great as a housewife. This episode in particular, though, it started with a few episodes ago coming after Marisol and Alexa for speaking Spanish. Okay, that was a little ding. That gave me a little ding. But then this week making Pepsi cry, and everyone who's saying that she did not make Pepsi cry, yes, she fucking did make Pepsi cry. And you don't make Pepsi cry, okay? You don't do that.
All right, Heather,
loving the running joke that Heather is just so impressed to be around famous people and wants everybody's autograph, which is true. Like we do it on the show, but it's also how she is. And I think that's funny. I think putting 2 friends together or 2 enemies, whatever the dynamic duo season they're doing, I don't know that we need that. I don't want to hear more about this black guy. Like I literally don't care. Do you? Do you still care about the black guy? Like,
oh,
what do you think?
not at all. This was my fear about this season because I get what they were trying to do. I get that they thought we could extend a storyline into an Ultimate Girls Trip, but I feel like it's a failed experiment because we're actually so
Right.
exhausted by whatever. Like I'm exhausted by the Giselle, Chris, Candiace storyline. Like I don't want to hear about that
Yes.
anymore because that's sort of what like a season and a reunion is for. And I don't think they did that math in their head. Like they're already going to be exhausted from this. It's like, yeah, we are. I don't want to hear
We're
about it. Okay?
tired. We tie. Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? That's what I just keep saying to myself. It's like being a really long car ride. Also, when this was announced and they were calling it the dynamic duo season, it sounded like it was all best friends being cast because it was Tinsley and Leah who were really close. Then it was Heather and Whitney who were supposedly close, and
Oh,
Alexia and Marisol. And then Gizelle and Candiace, I thought, where did that come from? You
Yeah.
know, and then so now I don't know what they were thinking, you know? Was it supposed to be friends, enemies, or just two randos from a show, the same show?
Would it be better to have no alliances going in, just like a full random, you sink or swim on
Yes.
your own? I think that's the way to go,
Yeah, I think so
right?
too. I like that they did that in season 1, especially. It was just like Kyle,
Yeah.
you know,
Ramona,
Cynthia. Just kind
Kenya.
of,
Oh, I guess Kenya
just kind
and
of a bunch of
Cynthia,
people
and
thrown
that
in.
messed them up. That was fun to watch. Even sad to watch, but
That's
fun to
true.
watch.
Yeah.
Whitney.
Dingbat, super awkward watching her every time she talks to a black woman and being like,
Oh
girl, I
God.
don't even want to go there, sister. Like that.
Oh yeah, real problematic, real borderline.
I
Reel it
mean,
in.
I mean, we
Reel
all
it in.
knew, we all knew when Housewives went to Salt Lake City, there was bound to be some awkwardness, but that's like a little, I know she doesn't mean it in a hateful way, so I'm not like attacking her, but that's a little much. However, I'm having fun watching her torture everybody because she
Yeah.
seems kind of cool and you kind of want to be her friend, but then she won't stop talking about this Mormon, like no one knows what she's talking about. I'm finding Whitney amusing. I always find Whitney pretty amusing.
I'm the same
How
way. It's
about
like
you?
she's so bad she's good. She's so bad at it that she's funny because she's like
Yeah.
she can never deliver her message correctly. She always delivers it terribly, but it's so bad it's funny to me.
Yeah, I agree.
Like she goes into she's like, "Guess what?" And then she tells you something you really don't care about, but she says it like you're going to love it and you're like, "I don't know what you're talking about."
It also is bad acting. Her personality is like a bad actor personality. And I don't know if she's like that in real life, but she just talks like a bad actor and she can't seem to remember her lines. And it cracks me up.
Alexia.
Alexia had a rougher season on Miami. I think she had a very shiny victim season last season. And I'm not saying victim sarcastically because she was a victim, she had that season where something's going bad, so we all automatically rally around you. Then this season, she had not such a great, she had more of a villainous season. And on this, I'm kind of enjoying her just being herself and not worrying about it. I'm loving the asides in Spanish between her and Marisol. I don't think it's unfair at all. And I think it's fucking hilarious. Just being so shocked at everybody else on the show.
Totally agree. I was like, I didn't think I would enjoy her half as much as I am because of the way she was on her season. But it's like, it's interesting when you take a cast member out of the dynamics of their own franchise where all of their like guards are up and they're used to like defending the same thing. They're enjoyable. They're not so bad. Okay.
Not so bad. And she holds on to that lead position still pretty well in this show. Like she does do the whole, here's my whole storyline in 2 minutes that she's got prepared, that she's spreading all over the place and doing over and over. But she's like, I'm a lead. Okay. And here's all the reasons I was born a star. And here's the reason. Like she still has that going on, which I like.
Candiace.
Man, I'm an up and down Candiace person.
God, me
Didn't
too.
like her forever. Forever and ever. And even her Monique season, the fight with Monique, Candiace was correct. I mean, I don't know how much people remember of that season because we all have housewives brains, housewives watchers brains.
Totally.
But she was correct that whole season. She was in the right. Everything that was happening, totally in the right. Every argument, she was in the right. Monique was coming her for no reason. She was in the right. And then she just she just has that like teenager bratty attitude where she just pisses you off so badly. You don't care that they're right. You're just like, you're grounded. You're grounded now.
You're grounded.
And you were correct. And she's getting that a little bit this season. I'm loving it though, watching her paired with Leah because they have that same age range. I don't want to say like millennial, but they have the same age range thing where whenever they are in a fight, they will say whatever makes them a victim to get out of the fight. And that cracks me up. Like them using bullying. I love it. So I'm enjoying them as a duo.
I did not realize how similar the two of them were until they got together and started feeding each other the same type of argument.
Yeah, I never saw that coming either. And I had heard that they'd become fast friends from the show, but I thought, how?
Me
How
too.
could
I was
Candiace
like,
stand
Leah?
Leah, you know?
But then you think about it, you're like, wow, yeah, they take it so seriously. They're like, everyone's attacking me. And yeah, totally tracks.
Yeah, they'll
Totally
yell and
tracks.
scream and say really low things, but then somehow they're still the victim at the end. You know, I find it hilarious.
Okay, well then Leah. How about Leah?
Well, I think it's just proof that it wasn't us, meaning the audience. Because there were times after the last season that I thought, well, during the last season, I thought, man, people sure hate Leah. Even before the season started, I thought Leah was kind of fun her first season. You know, she would like tell everybody off and like throw the tiki torch. And she had such kind of epic moments in her first season. People hated her before the second season even started and really hated her by the end. And so I thought this will be interesting to see Leah kind of in a new arena. And audience, it wasn't us. She is still miserable. She's still miserable Leah. But I do find myself, I was in a conversation yesterday. Hopefully my family's not listening to this, but I was in a conversation with my family and I literally almost said, I'm bored.
You almost pulled a Leah?
I almost pulled a Leah, you know, so I find her entertaining, but annoying. What do you think?
Very annoying. So I'm an LA born and raised native, and I feel like we can spot a Leah from a mile away. They like our ears perk up and we go, I don't like you. We don't like those faux woke New York went to prep school but still act like they're like of the people type thing. And I was like, she's fake. Just wait. And so when it turned out that she didn't want to film with Ebony after the season and Ebony was like, Leah, no, I was like, I knew it. So I really reveled in being like I knew it. Because I love an I was right moment. I'm a toxic trait of mine. So I was like, I fucking knew it. I fucking knew it. So I, up until this episode, was like, I really can't stand Leah. But then somehow, even though she was a mess this episode, I was kind of enjoying her like fainting and needing to have like a towel on her head, and the way she handled Gizelle when Gizelle came in her room. I turned on her. I turned to enjoy her annoying Leah-ness. So suddenly I was like,
You
wait,
know,
I don't hate her
there.
now.
I'm with you, and I'm actually impressed with how she has been able to. First of all, they're all calling her out on this show, which I like. I think on New York,
that helps.
They'll call her out in a gentle way. They treat her like a child.
Yes, that's what annoyed me.
It's an older cast. Yeah, they kind of baby her and they're like, oh, don't make Leah mad because she's gonna call us all the C word and like start our houses on fire or whatever. And this show, they really don't care. And so they're calling her out. And while Leah is making herself a victim and saying, you're bullying me, like she's pulling that, but she's also not letting it really get to her. She's like, well, not everyone can like you. Who cares? I'm still gonna fucking show up to lunch and be a bitch to people. And I think that I like that. I think it's a better balance having Leah with people who aren't going to take her crap.
Exactly, because she can't wallow in the victimness. And I think that made me like, okay, you can still dust yourself off, pick yourself up, keep it going. And I actually thought about it more and I was like, she really kind of held her own at that boat fight. So
very well. And then how she went out and just like was taking selfies, like she starts this riot basically, and then she goes and takes selfies, and I'm enjoying that.
I feel like I had to own up to something. She does trigger me, and I will always own up to it. I'm like, oh, maybe I was just a little bit triggered and not giving her the respect she deserved. So she does deserve a little respect for standing up to literally Gizelle, Portia, and Marisol. So
yeah,
fine.
In that moment, but she still triggers me all the time. Like she still makes me crazy. Like showing up and saying, oh my God, guys, I have my period. Like it's about to happen any moment. And I'm PMSing like 2 weeks before or whatever her whole speech about periods was.
Awful.
And then you show up without a tampon. Like, first of all, it's bad
Agreed.
planning. You know what I mean? It's just bad planning.
On a boat?
And then come on. And
in a bathing
in Thailand. Yeah, like come on, man. And then when started her. She tries to say things to shock you, like gross things to shock people. She'll be like, "He likes anal." Like that's just her opener. Or like, I have my period while I have diarrhea. It's like, well, she triggers me all the time. But I know that she's doing it on purpose, and so I feel tricked every time I get mad. And I don't know. She's left me completely confused this season.
And I think that because we get to have Gizelle and Portia have a comeback to it, it's less annoying than like Ramona, who will do that, like, okay, just say you're sorry. I'm sorry, Leah. I'm sorry I hurt you. I'm very sorry. Okay. And you're like, no, don't do that. Don't like placate her, because then she continues to act like a little baby. Like, yeah, you should apologize to me. It's like, no one should apologize to you.
Exactly. And also in New York, they're all so much older that they can, she has a legitimate gripe. I mean, if you're going to go to someone like Ramona and be like, oh my God, you don't understand race relations. Yeah. Ramona's like in her late 60s and like, you know what I mean? She's like
Upper
from a
East
different
Side,
time.
borderline racist woman anyway.
Yes. Like you can call that cast out on pretty much anything and you're going to be right. So it's interesting to see her with more people around her age that she can't just automatically be right against, you know?
How about Portia?
I love Portia. I've always loved Portia. I loved Portia even when she dragged Kenya across the stage and like beat her with her own props. And I'm not supposed to, you know, like shit that you're just not supposed to enjoy. I enjoyed I enjoyed it. What can I say? I think she's hilarious. I think in her I've always loved her. Her last season of Atlanta was difficult because she didn't want to show up to anything. But
she
now
got that
she's like here.
thing going on.
Yes, now she's here. She's playing. She's very funny. She's not afraid of a fight, but she still makes even the fights fun. This is the Portia I love that we're getting.
God, it's so good. It's so
it's good, right? What do you think of Portia? Have you missed her?
Okay, I was so mad at her last season because I hate that, like, Nene taught her too well. Nene taught her, like, all you got to do is just not answer questions, and kind of that pissed me off. Then did you watch her spinoff? Of course you did. You could tell production had been kind of protecting her a lot. And then my theory is she assumed the spinoff was going to be equally protected. But the spinoff, they were like, no, you're going to have to show us your whole life. And she was like, what? So that didn't go so well. And I was like mad. Like, ask anybody. I was like Portia's dead to me until she apologizes to production. Okay. That really pissed me the fuck off. But then she came back for this and I was like, all is forgiven. Every single thing I ever said about Portia, she's forgiven. Let's get her back on the show. But this is a very safe space for her because she knows, like, this is a fun thing to do. She just has a couple days with these women. She gets to say some fun shit. She's playing it all right. She gives us a little bit, but doing a full season of like Atlanta, I'm sure she's like, I don't know if I want to do that now.
Well, right. And how all of the Heathers, you know, like that Heather mentality of like, oh my God, you have 7 million followers. Can I get your autograph? You know, she does have power in that sense in this group because that is a very important part of being a Real Housewife and a reality star in general. And she's winning in such a major level. She was also brought in last minute. So she doesn't have someone from Atlanta who's coming for her, like Gizelle and you know what I'm saying?
Candiace.
Gizelle and Candiace have, or Whitney and Heather have. So she gets to just kind of come in on her own and be charming. I think she'll be back to Atlanta, though. I hope.
I want you to picture something. I want you to picture freshly shaven legs and a clean set of sheets, but temperature regulating sheets. The softest sheets. Sheets made from viscose from bamboo sheets. Don't know what that's like? Well, you need to try Cozy Earth's sheets, okay? They do also make them in linen, but the ones I have tried are the viscose from bamboo, and I'm telling you right now, I was making sheet angels. You know, you just like, they are so freaking soft, and the temperature regulating. And if you don't want to take my word for it, take Oprah's. Cozy Earth has been on Oprah's favorite things for the last 5 years. Not just their sheets either. Their pajama set, their joggers, their socks. I've been on a mission for a new cozy pant, and the women's bamboo jogger pant are so soft. And I like the drawstring. They're not too tight. Even because I know people are like, well, they're drawstring, you don't have to tighten them. Sometimes like they already come too tight. And all of their fits on their pajamas are still flattering, which is real. It's hard to find comfort and flattering because I do like to wear my cozy clothes out and about, running errands or to dinner. They also make premium bath products, all made from viscose from bamboo. By the way, this is responsibly sourced viscose from bamboo. But they offer a plush collection and a new waffle collection. Waffle bath products are the new thing. Did I mention, by the way, every product from Cozy Earth comes with a 10-year warranty. Isn't that kind of wild? 10 years. Okay, I'll take it. Love it. And one more time, just one word, Oprah. Cozy Earth has provided an exclusive offer for my listeners, 35% off site-wide when you use the code SheSpeaks at checkout. So go to cozyearth.com, use code SheSpeaks, get 35% off the entire site. All right, so let's get into the episode. That was fun. Thank you for that journey.
It was. Did we go through all of them? Wow, that's good.
We did. Right? Did I miss it? No, I think we got everybody.
Yeah, I think you got everybody.
We got everybody. So we open with Pepsi and the Muay Thai instructors, and this was just showing me like, so Pepsi, you are crazy. Like Pepsi fully, like he's fighting with the Muay Thai instructors. He's doing little heel kicks on his way to the ladies to tell them about he's singing a little song, I have full power. He's doing the pillow in front of his face and the confessionals. I'm like, okay, got it. So Pepsi is nuts and I am here for it. I wonder if they like cast Pepsi. Like, I wonder if did Pepsi really come with this whole situation? Because he's too good.
I think they cast it, but remember last year on Dorinda's, the Berkshires one, where they cast that poor guy from Craigslist and he didn't know what he was getting into.
Oh, man.
Pepsi seems to know what he's doing.
Yes, so, he does.
I don't know.
Alexia and Marisol in their confessional, they talk about the night before and how everyone was just talking over each other. Oh my God, but the worst is Candiace. Reminds me of when Kenya taught Luann what reading was on season 1 of Ultimate Girls Trip. Because they're like, we're being shady, by the way. This is shade. And they're like learning it like a new language. Like, well, according to Gizelle, this would be shade. And Marisol's like, okay, but I think this is reasonable. Like they're literally like keeping a list of it. Like they're going to go back to Miami and teach people. According to Gizelle, this is what we call shade now. I'm so happy. I don't know if a producer talked to Whitney or what, but Whitney's confessional, she's like, after yesterday, I realized that no one is going to understand what Heather and I are fighting about. So I just decided to let it go. Thank you, Whitney. Because girl, I wrong audience. And I was just hoping, I'm like, I want you to have some fun, honey, because they don't know they don't know what you're talking about when you say the role or the list. Like, this is not Salt Lake City, honey.
And even on Salt Lake City, nobody cares. I mean, I wish somebody understood it enough to just say, Whitney, you are in no place to yell at Heather for being fake. You're stealing her leaving the Mormonism storyline. That's her storyline. You left years ago because you had an affair with some dude or whatever, and more power to you. But you left this 15 years ago. You don't get to come into season 3 and steal Heather's storyline, the season that she's writing a book. You know, to me, that's the real fight.
This is the letter. When she wants to sign the letter, I'm like, what is this moment? What are we doing?
My friend came over to sign the letter with me. It's like, oh, okay, Whitney, in my speakeasy, because I built a speakeasy in my basement because I'm a rebel. Let's sign the paper in the speakeasy with the notary. I'm like, oh, Whitney.
It went on forever.
And you just see Heather get so pissed when she hears that storyline. You just see her like, really, Whitney? I'm writing a book. Could you give me a year?
Or when Whitney said that she'd been suppressing memories of abuse, and Heather's like, what?
Heather got really so mad.
That's going to trump my storyline for sure. I'm writing a whole book. I don't have abuse to talk about. What the? Damn it.
I'm so jealous of her abuse. She definitely did have a weird reaction to Whitney's abuse storyline, and she never really said why, you know? And she was never really pressed why, but I was really curious as to why. Like, did she not believe it? Like, it seemed like she just didn't believe it, you know?
I'm convinced she thought it was for the cameras. I'm convinced because she went, you? And that was her way of going, now? Like,
Yeah.
Interesting. Can't really
Yeah.
say that right now. I'll get in a lot of trouble, but. And now she's kind of saying, when you think about it on this show, she's like, suddenly Justin loses his job and she needs to do a whole lot for the cameras. I'm like, okay, I'm adding this up. I get what you're saying here. Gizelle, then now she starts with this bottle. She pulls Pepsi aside. She's like, remember this bottle? Remember this right here? And the last she saw it was when the three of them took that shot and Pepsi like humped the air. What if Pepsi took the bottle? What if he drank it? Oh,
You know,
just thought of that.
guys, I'm not accusing anybody of anything, but I think that the staff probably threw it away. I mean, how much was in that bottle?
I was going to
all
say
doing
they were
shots.
all drinking it.
They were all doing shots from the bottle. I don't know that she's missing the actual alcohol. I don't know if she wanted to keep the bottle. Like, is that $150? I'm not saying that's cheap, but you have $150,000. I mean, you turned your house into a Hyatt place. Surely you have money left over to buy some tequila.
Yeah, because like
I think
they
threw it
all
away.
drank it on the boat. Everyone.
Yeah. How
They
much
were
is in there?
How much
They were
could
all
be
taking
left?
shots. Yeah, I think that they probably finished it, or maybe there was like an inch left, and one of the cleaning ladies or cleaning guys was like, "Oh, it's empty," and they threw it away, like you do every bottle of empty liquor. That's what I think, but I don't know. Or she planted it.
But then Pepsi, you could tell, is so nervous. He's like, oh shit. So she's like, do you think and he finishes it, the ladies took it? Mm-hmm. She's like, oh, okay. And put it in their room. And he's like, mm-hmm. Sure. That's what happened.
Well, she's coming for Candiace, I'm guessing. You know, it seems like she's coming for Candiace to steal it. She could plant it in Candiace's bag. I mean, let's think of that. But it's also kind of coming across as problematic, running through the whole house screaming, somebody took my goddamn, like, who are you accusing? You're like in a different country. Are you accusing the staff of doing this? Because that's super shitty of you.
Yeah.
And it's also really weird to show up to a group event with something that's only yours. And I don't believe that you can't get Clase Azul in lots of places in Thailand. I don't believe that either. I saw someone on Reddit. I'm sorry I don't have your name right now, Reddit person, but they were like, I went and looked up liquor stores near where they were in Phuket, and their Clase Azul is everywhere.
Shut up.
So I'm not buying Gizelle's whole thing. And also, it's Clase Azul, not Casa Azul, okay? Which I would love to judge you more on, except that I've been getting it wrong for 4 weeks too. So.
Oh, I would too. I have to. What's funny is that the subtitles were getting it right, and I was like, these dumbass subtitles, they're not getting it right. Oh, okay, so it is Clase Azul. Okay, well, that's good to know. Yeah, this is... I don't mind it as a bit. Like, I thought it was a bit she was doing, and I was like, oh, okay, are we doing like a funny thing? Like, is this like a joke that we're doing? But when it gets so serious by the end, I was like, this isn't a bit. I thought we were just doing a little silly bit.
Yeah, at first it was kind of cute. It was like Gizelle, like you are the first one. You are suspect number one. Nah,
yeah.
Like she's doing the Gizelle thing, and I thought it was kind of funny at first too. But man, by the end, I was like,
and the poor producers are like, we thought this was a bit too. We all did. We thought it was a bit, but she's not laughing.
When you have producers on camera getting yelled at, like, ugh, awkward.
Yeah. And I think Portia thought it was a bit too, because like Gizelle goes into Portia and she's like, so Pepsi thinks one of the ladies has it. And Portia's like, not Pepsi with the T. Ooh. So I think she thinks this is a little bit as well. And she's like, I don't trust Heather. So she's suspect number one because she's not being honest about the black eye. So again, I'm thinking like, oh, this is just to kind of like rope in some story. Like, let's do some circle backs. This is fine. And I'm okay with that. Why not? They can do little funny graphics and sound effects.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, no. Meanwhile, Heather goes to Leah's room and we have some Instagram drama. And I really love when this shit happens. Portia didn't tag Leah and Candiace in the photo. And I remember when this photo was on Instagram and it became a thing. I do remember that. Like, she didn't tag Leah and Candiace. They must be fighting. And I recall
Oh, yeah.
it became a thing. They weren't wrong.
That was a huge thing. And it was also a huge thing. The elephant
Yes.
farm or whatever, where they said that Leah was fired from the show for throwing elephant poop at somebody. I mean, this house, the leak in this house is really dramatic. And they
Pepsi.
leaked
It's
a
Pepsi.
lot.
I'm convinced it's Pepsi.
Wouldn't you love it if this all ended with Pepsi with the giant martini swirling around? Like, fuck those girls. Fuck all of them.
That's actually how I picture
Clase
it.
Azul.
He has multiple bottles of Clase Azul all around him. Like, I've had all of them. I could have fixed this whole thing.
With Clase Azul bottles.
I could have solved all the problems.
Ridiculous. I just love how Heather talks. Heather goes, I'm just trying to get through the fog of betrayal. Like, what are you even talking about, Heather? So then we start this whole bullying thing with Lee and Candiace talk about how they're being bullied.
They love the B word.
Candiace does make some good calls here because she's like, now listen, this is what's going to happen when you bring up the fact that we weren't tagged in this post. She's going to be like, but it's my social media. I can post whatever I want. Why do you care? What are you trying to use me for my social media?
And that is
of course
exactly what she says. Nailed it.
But isn't it also the reason that they are pissed? I mean,
is it right?
I would think so. It's like I'm the only one who doesn't get in a picture that's going to be viewed by 7 million people, you know?
It's funny. I don't think in those terms, but I guess they do. Like, I guess that is the point of being tagged in a big accounts thing, right? So, yeah.
I guess. And also that it's an obvious sign that you're not liked on the trip. So they're turning the audience against them already by saying Portia hates Candiace and Leah, right?
And now they get to be like, what's happening? What did they do? Why does Portia hate them? And like, now it becomes rumors about what they possibly could have done.
Throwing elephant poop at people. You see? That's how
did that one
starts.
come out, though? So Gizelle and Portia talk about the fight at the reasonably shady thing. And here's where Portia always wins me over, because she's saying shit that's funny, but she's saying mean shit too. But it's like she's got a flair to it. She puts a little pizzazz on it because she's like, I don't remember exactly what I was saying, but I just know I was passionate and I meant it. But then you cut over to Candiace, who's like, you're a petty, toxic bitch. You wanted problems, so I'll give you problems. I'm like, see, this is Candiace. I just wish you could like lighten up a little bit.
Yeah, sometimes. Yeah, she does. She doesn't enjoy it as much.
Exactly.
You know?
She doesn't have as much fun with it.
Like, you're supposed to relish it. Like, and I've talked about this all the time. It's fun villainy. You need to be a fun villain. You know, you need to be like the Boris of Bullwinkle, who's always like, oh, they got me again. Bah! And then you just try again next week to bring somebody down. To make it this whole like righteous cause that's so serious and it brings you to tears and speeches. I'm like, that's not fun villainy.
Exactly. That's where Candiace loses the audience, because she wants to show everyone how right she is. But at the end of the day, this is like all just going to get recycled. We're going to move on. It's not going to really matter. So just have fun with it in the moment. Calling her a petty, toxic bitch is a little much.
But where Candiace, I think, wins is when she is having fun and she is body shaming. Listen, Candiace is like the James Kennedy of this show. Like, you hear James Kennedy talk, you know he's going to be calling somebody fat or ugly, okay? And Candiace, I mean, I may not approve of it if it's real life. It's not nice, obviously, right? And we all get in trouble. We would all get in trouble for it. But when Candiace is just like, shut up, neck, you know, that's when Candiace wins every time.
No, you're so right. And I'm glad you said that, because I couldn't help but laugh when she's had her line later about the fucking stovepipe legs.
Yes, and that's terrible. That is
terrible.
So horribly.
But she delivers it so well.
But she has fun, so you laugh.
Yes. It's like her classic line, because you're mad that your feet are big. And people are like, don't make fun of her because her feet are big. I'm like, well, that's like small.
But it's
like,
funny. Yeah.
Really,
I mean,
like, that's like minor. Like, I guess she can't help that her feet are big, but come on. They get in the vans to go shopping, and Marisol made Portia like the strongest drink of her life. And I love Portia goes, I know my girl's been having issues in the body, but I think I would too if I was drinking jet fuel. But someone had to say it. Okay, someone had to say it to her face. Like, Marisol, you need to stop drinking alcohol if you're having this many issues.
Marisol's so shocked people calling her out on her alcohol use.
Right? Because
Like,
no one
how
else does,
dare you?
apparently.
I know,
Girl.
but you've made it your whole personality, babe. Like, people are going to call you out.
Again, they talk about the shade. Alexia's like, I just found out what shade was. And then Leah goes, I don't like passive aggressive shade. And they literally ask her to explain what is passive aggressive shade. And they're like, you know, like poor Leah, or are you bored? And Marisol's like, okay, that's passive aggressive shade. Okay. And I could just see Marisol going back to Miami like, okay, guys, Mira, that's his passive aggressive shade is like this. And then this is regular shade. And like teaching people how to use shade.
But unfortunately, they're learning from Leah. Leah does not understand shade, first of all.
Agreed,
Leah's never been good
those
at
examples
shade.
weren't right.
Yeah, Leah's terrible at shade. I mean, Leah's shade is being like, you drunk, ugly bitch. Nobody fucking likes you. These people will fuck me, you know, like, yeah, it's not shade, it's just vile, you know. And this example wasn't passive aggressive either. Poor Leah. That was very funny shade. Alexia's gonna go back and be like, die in your sleep, stupid. Nobody likes you. That was passive aggressive shade. Like, no. You learned this. You learned it wrong, girl. Oh my God.
They're all like, who taught you that? Woman named Leah? Nope, she taught you wrong. Whoa, got that real wrong. Damn, horrible. They get to the city. Okay, Heather, I don't get what her angle is. These are two of my favorite things, capitalism and exploiting third world boutiques. I feel like she's trying to get ahead of like backlash. I think that's what she's trying to do. I feel like she's trying to like say things before like other people get mad at them for things.
I think so. I can't figure out her motivation this season for anything. I mean,
Right?
everything that comes out of her mouth is just bonkers and offensive.
Right?
And I don't know what she's doing. I don't know if she's going for a villain edit, but not really getting it.
I don't understand what you want from us. Heather, what do you need from us? Because we don't know what to do.
Let us know. But
have you ever been to Thailand?
this whole group is. I have not.
Neither have I.
You?
But I've heard it's very hot. So when Leah was hot, I've heard nothing but like it is hot when you're there. Like it is, and I don't like being hot.
That is definitely me. Like I hate it. I'm a big guy.
Because I'm always a little
be
sweaty. I'm always like a
Ugh.
little slightly too hot and sweaty. So this looks miserable to me.
I will lie on the ground in a store that has a
I would too. This is probably why I related to Leah in this episode. Because I'm like, that would be me. I would be the one on the ground needing ice water and a towel. Like, yes. I'm gonna faint.
But again, you're not wearing panties, and then she's like, I have diarrhea and my period, not wearing panties. I'm like, okay, you know, at this point you're just unprepared. Like I don't even know what to say anymore about Leah. You know,
I like Gizelle being like, now she's just nasty Leah. Now she's just nasty Leah.
I know, because at first she's like, my cast won't let me talk about anything sexual. Who likes getting double banged in the back of, and they're like, what? Whoa, or whatever her thing was that she brought up.
That's a good point, because she says that and they're like, oh yeah, no, so go ahead, talk about sex. Then she does that and they're like, okay, well, not that. Like,
yeah.
Why did you have to do that? She
goes too far immediately. It's like, what about micro penises? Oh, yeah, that's what it was. Micro penises.
And they're like, oh, I guess that's talking about sex. Like, never mind. We take it back. We don't want you to talk about anything stupid.
Yeah.
Dumb. But it's weird. They stand her up. Like, she acted like she's like, I don't want to die. Then they stand her up and she's like, I wanted to buy a couple things though. So all right. So I feel like, all right, you should have just let that go, because once you commit to the faint, I don't want to die, you can't get up and be like, I want to buy items. Like once you commit to that, you have to like commit and stay there.
Yeah. Also, this show really, again, with the editing of the previews and stuff, I thought this was it for Leah, because We know she leaves early, and then we thought it was the elephant throwing the elephant poop. It's not that. And then we saw in the preview this part where she's like, I'm dying. So I thought, this is it for Leah, and she's still there. I mean, good job, trailer editors. You really have me guessing.
The girls go to lunch. Meanwhile, Candiace, Whitney, and Heather go get weed. And apparently Heather is a huge pothead, which was interesting.
It's like your mom being like, ooh, anybody want to get some marijuana? Because it's legal now. It's like, no, you've officially made marijuana unfun. Okay. Bring me some fucking Coke. Like, what the hell?
Take it up a notch.
Yeah. When Heather Gay is like, let's get some marijuana, I'm like, yeah, okay. It's dead to me. It's fucking dead to me.
Dumping out all my weed. Fuck your weed. Never mind. You ruined it. You ruined
Meth
weed for
only
everybody.
from now on. Yes.
Meth only from now on is the title of this episode.
Bring some fun back to our party.
Oh,
My
God,
God.
that's
Get my mom out of the
hysterical.
weed store.
If you've been listening to me for a minute, you have heard me tell the story of my friend who shocked me at the beginning of the year and said that she wanted to actually try to get pregnant. And I was like, what? I thought we were in this no kid thing together. And she actually used my code for modern fertility, the modern fertility test, which I'll get into in a second. And she got her results back. She took those results into her OBGYN, and it turned out that she actually was going to have a very hard time getting pregnant. And I say this to you, my listeners and my viewers, as someone who does not personally want children of her own. But if you think you may want children one day, someday, plan for it and get your hormones checked. I think modern fertility is amazing for this, because to me that sounds really intimidating and also very expensive, because traditional hormone testing can cost like $600 or more. Plus you gotta like book the appointment. It's like very serious. Modern fertility is a finger prick. You put it in the prepaid label and you get your results back in 6 business days. You get all the same hormones tested that you would in traditional hormone testing, like your ovarian reserve, which is very important to know, and other important factors that could affect your fertility. And you can download those results, which is what my friend did. Download those results and take them into your doctor, and then they can go over them with you. So modern fertility, the test is $179, but if you go to modernfertility.com/she speaks, you can get $20 off the test. Plus, you can get reimbursed for the test through FSA/HSA. Right now, Modern Fertility is offering our listeners $20 off their test when you go to modernfertility.com/she speaks. That means your test will cost you $159, which is a fraction of the cost at a fertility clinic. Get $20 off your fertility test at modernfertility.com/she speaks. modernfertility.com/she speaks. But anyway, the ladies all gather together and Gizelle begins her interrogation. When she presents them with this evidence, she's like, this bottle of tequila here. And everyone's like, yeah, the one you can literally get at any liquor store in America. So they're like,
yes.
What? We're confused.
So then she starts my first thought was Alexia took it, because Alexia said that she had ordered a bottle of this. So I guess that was on her rider or something. And so she felt like she was owed a bottle of it.
Yes.
But then Alexia, and then we see the clip of her being like, oh, no, I brought this. And then them fighting about it.
Yeah.
Not fighting, but talking about it.
Yeah.
But it wasn't her, apparently. So... Dun.
Heather's the number one suspect, because I don't believe anything that comes out of her mouth. Okay, Heather's taking the relatability queen thing too far, because she's like, I was just excited to get some attention, because, it's like the popular girl, when she gives you attention, you don't care, you just want the attention. Like, she called me fat and ugly, I don't care. And everyone, I feel like the collective audience went, oh, okay, well.
Yeah. It's
right.
awkward, and it's It's a little bit like, I think Heather, a lot of her initial popularity had to do with being like not the thin girl,
Mm-hmm.
and as a bigger person, I love seeing that, but
Same.
she's kind of, that one moment that Emily had on Real Housewives of Orange County when she pulled out a turkey sandwich in the steam room and now
Yep.
she's like a hero forever.
Yep.
That's going to last her a long time, that turkey sandwich.
Yep.
I mean, figuratively.
Yep.
And I think that Feather, I think Heather has that kind of vibe too, that we're still running on that vibe. But now Heather is a star. She is a celebrity. I mean, to us, to Bravo people, but she is a celebrity. She does get endorsements, and she gets to do all the famous people stuff and go to BravoCon and sign, autographs and stuff. And so it's coming off as a little less genuine now.
Yeah. No, it's not hitting the same. It's hitting as forced.
Yes.
Suspect number 3 is Marisol. Marisol just finds this so amusing, which is how I was hoping everyone would find it. Marisol's like, why? Because I like to drink or I like free shit. They're just laughing. They're like, this is hilarious. No, it's because you like the mini bottles. And Gizelle's like, you wanted the one big bottle to match your mini bottles. So I'm like, we're laughing, right? Like, we all think this is funny, right? Because
it makes Giselle's just a terrible detective. It's like, put a lineup of 10 people for this crime up, and she'd just be like, well, you could have done it because you're fat, and you could have done it because I don't like your ears. It's like, that's not how you solve a case, man.
Yes. Candiace, she goes to Candiace and she goes, you're suspect number 2. Candiace goes, no, she's not. No, she's not. And then she tells this hilarious story of Gizelle trying to get her to steal a bottle in Mexico. And the producer having to be like, put that back. That is not our liquor. But now Candiace, of course, is yelling because she can't help but yell. She's just got a loud voice and they're all mortified. It wouldn't be a housewives trip without someone yelling too loud and everyone surrounding, staring. It's like, that's just a rite of passage, guys.
I love the tourists like taking pictures and laughing. So funny.
Pepsi on the side table is like, oh God, I can't. Like, I don't know what to do.
But this story was also so hilarious because it is Gizelle, and we see clips of it. They're in Mexico, they're having fun, and Gizelle goes, take that bottle, you can take it. And Candiace is like, we can't take this. She goes, take it, just take it. And then, of course, now Gizelle completely turns it against her and goes, oh, really? You tried to steal that bottle in Mexico then? Why did you do that? It's like, oh, you're so mean. You're terrible. Such a terrible human being.
Candiace is like, you're trying to set me up. She is. She's clearly she is, right? Like, she's trying to set her up, right?
They're going to find it in Candiace's room, right? I mean, obviously. It seems like she's going to go in there and plant it.
So Gizelle looks at everyone. If you took it, just admit it now. Give me my bottle. I want my bottle. And it's like, she sounds
give me my goddamn bottle.
Like a baby. She sounds like a baby asking for her bottle. So
you know what she sounds like? A poor person. That's what she sounds like to me. She sounds like someone who's never had a nice bottle of anything and cares too much about it. You know what I mean? I got my car fixed one time and they gave me some crap little car. I was like, okay. And he said, are you rich? And I said, no. And he said, well, usually you can tell when people are rich because they'll take whatever car we give them. It's the poor people who yell and scream for a nicer car. And I've always thought about that, even though it didn't work in my case because I wasn't rich. But it makes me think of that when people like Gizelle are going on and on about a bottle. I'm like, are you saving your money? I know you make a lot of money. Why are you acting like this? It's a bottle. It's $150. Go to the damn store and stop making a fool out of yourself.
And now that you have confirmed, someone on Reddit confirmed that they have access to get it in Thailand.
Yeah.
I'm confused.
I don't get it.
Why is she saying that?
And also, you're such a tequila
weeks?
connoisseur that you can only drink Clase Azul, which is what she was saying earlier. Like, that's the only thing I can drink. It is not. Go get yourself a George Clooney tequila. They're all good. Okay.
And I feel like we've seen her drink other stuff. So this is just a bizarre thing to still be harping on. So now she wants to search everyone's rooms, and everyone just wants to shut her up. They're like, search my room, please. Like, if this shuts you up, like, search the room, get the bottle. But of course, Candiace does not agree to that. And Candiace in her, this is when Candiace says her funny line, because Candiace is a confessional. She's like, I want nothing from you. You have nothing to offer but long necks and stovepipe legs. We don't want those things.
Yeah, she's like, we don't want those. So Marisol's like, we're not at the house. Just have them search it. I mean, they can go into our rooms anyway to clean it. So Gizelle is now texting producers saying Candiace has given permission to search
Yes.
her room, which did not happen, ma'am. You know?
I was waiting for Candiace to be like, no, she did not.
So then they bring up the Leah. Candiace is like, okay, well, Leah's at the house resting, but I would like to bring this up to everybody. Leah shared with me that she saw online that Portia posted our picture, but you tagged everyone else, her and her and her and her, a bottle of Clase Azul, but not me.
Imagine she tagged Clase Azul.
In the end, I hope it's Portia who took it just to be funny, and it just got out of hand.
That would be
That's
my favorite.
Yeah.
But Candiace, this is okay. Candiace always takes it one step too far, and then she loses her audience. Portia goes, I don't like Leah, period. And Candiace goes, okay, but then by not tagging me, Candiace, it's a form of cyberbullying. I'm like, oh, you see, you lose your audience. You know, like once you
They
do
just
that,
all grown.
everyone's
I love
like,
that they all grown. They
"Here
all
we
went,
go."
oh my God. Dios mío, por favor, ¿por qué?
Portia goes, are you hurt? Oh, are you hurt? And then Candiace, oh, are you bullying me? Should I cry? And Portia comes out with a fucking napkin, goes, can we fold this into a triangle? I'm sorry, but she wins. She wins when she does shit like that. She pulled a prop out and said, fold it into a triangle. Like, you win, you win, you win. Alexia seemed like she tried to help too. She's like, you're hurt, right? And Candiace goes, I just wanted you all to know that Portia is passive aggressive and petty. And Alexia goes, Candiace, you told us all to shut the fuck up last night. I'm like, yeah. Okay.
And she goes, Alexia, you never let anyone talk. Bully. You're a bully right now. You're bullying me right now. Well, you know, Peter, that's not good for you because you just bullied me. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I wish she had said that because Candiace just flips right back around. Like, you never shut up.
I feel like Alexia probably doesn't shut up. Alexia likes to tell a long-winded story, probably.
I can guarantee you not a one of these people ever shuts the fuck up.
Right? Portia's like, I was going to pull you to the side today anyway and ask, why do you have to scream at me every single time I talk to you? And they do a wonderful compilation of Candiace screaming. Because Candiace always does. This is also the problem I have with Candiace. I want to listen. I want to hear her. But she always goes to an octave that's hard to listen to.
And she does the repeating thing too, where she'll just say, you are bullying me. You are bullying me. You are bullying me. You are bullying me. You are bullying. And it's just over and over the same thing. And it makes me nuts.
Torture. Yeah. Portia then switches though. She goes, oh, because she wanted the followers. Can's like, and we knew that's what you were going to say. So predictable. And then
but it's also true.
Portia wins.
Because you know that Portia, wherever she goes, people are like, oh my God, let's take a picture. Put that on your Instagram and tag me, please. Please.
Yes, it's gotta be like so obnoxious to have to sort through friends like that. Cause like, I don't know what that's like, but yep, that makes sense.
The first time I ever met Tom Sandoval, I lived down the street from him, from this bar that he used to go to. And so I just happened to see him there. And I was like, hey, I do this podcast and we make fun of you. But I'm sorry to even ask you, but, you know, I just wanted to say hi or whatever. And he goes, oh, you know what? We should take a picture. Put it on your Insta. Tag me. And I was like, that's the first time I had ever heard something like that. I'm like, nobody. Like, you can't use it. It's just that mentality of like, tag
it's
me.
PR.
And that's one more account that maybe a couple of hundred people will see me on.
Oh.
So gross. That's so gross.
Oh, I guess I don't think in those terms. I probably maybe should. I just don't. My brain doesn't work like that.
I think in terms of like, what can you, like, not what can you get me, but like, what can you feed me? Like, do you have access to, or are you married to a chef? Are you a chef?
I think that way too.
Are you a waiter at a really good restaurant that can get me discounts?
Portia goes, does anybody have Pedialyte for PJ?
Yeah, and they're like, PJ is
They have to let everyone know who PJ is. PJ is her baby. So, yeah. Pepsi swoops in and he's like, okay, guys, we got to go. I need to get you the hell out of here because they're asking us to leave. And so we're going to go on these little tuk-tuks, which is an epic 2-minute ride. And then they're done. They're all loving it. They're like, this is so fun. Oh, it's done?
And then they're all complaining. Like, that was it? Now we have to go back in the vans? So someone flirts with Candiace and Heather as they pass in their tuk-tuk. They're in the same one. Someone's like, hey, sexy, or something. And Candiace is like, wow, look at you getting some action from the street. And Heather goes, oh, yeah, they think I'm Nicole Brown Simpson. What does that mean? What?
I was like, what?
What?
Did you... Why?
I'm confused by everything that's coming out of her mouth this entire season. The woman has gone bonkers.
Yeah. I had
Why, Heather?
And they left it in for a reason. Like, we all need you to dissect that. And Candiace didn't know what to do too. She's like, I'm gonna just give you a little high five there. But she was like, she's okay. Well, we're gonna move on from that one, lady. In the vans, Marisol jokes with Gizelle. She's like, you're like Perry Mason. I thought you maybe planted it in my room and I got scared. And I'm like, oh, she's either planted it in someone's room or like maybe Portia does have it. Maybe Portia did jokingly take it. Or again, maybe they threw out the bottle because it was empty.
Yeah, I don't know. Those are my two top theories because this is just crazy town now, and there's so much liquor there. No one else cares about Clase Azul that much.
Exactly. But Heather gets all big and bad in that van, like she does. She's like, oh, yeah, I was going to let her know, like, you're picking me for a reason. Alpha, bring it, because I do not need to fight with your bullshit games. I will be quiet, I will be small, and I'll still beat you. I almost took my soup bowl and Teresa Giudice, Gizelle. Okay, Heather, no one believes you.
I know.
Not one person.
It's kind of like all of us, probably most of us, okay, me. That thing where you leave and you're like, oh, you know what I told that person in the store when I was waiting in line? I said, really? I've been here 30 minutes and I demand a manager. Like, my mom's always doing that. She'll be like, I said, how dare you make me wait for this long? I demand a manager. Then they gave me everything free and then everyone applauded. It's like, yep. Yeah, okay. Okay,
yeah,
Mom.
That happened.
So Heather's doing that. Subreddit. That happened. Subreddit. One of my favorites. She's like, oh, yeah, you want a piece of me? Come and get it. And Whitney's like, Heather, why are you only like that on the bus? Because if you were like that in real life, you'd have job security. You'd be a really good housewife.
You'd be a really good housewife. Exactly.
Oh,
Portia
gosh.
and Gizelle both agree. Like, they think Candiace just wants some camera time with Portia. Is that the read you're getting on it?
I think that they came in. I think Candiace, when Candiace is mad about something, she just holds on to it forever and she takes it way too seriously.
That's
like
how
Portia
I feel
said
too.
Portia said that thing where she had, whatever. Candiace was just using that suing Monique thing to try and pay for her mom's house. It's like a shady joke. Shading Candiace for even living in her mom's house in the first place, right? That was the main joke. And Candiace has just held on to it forever and no one else cares. This is the world of the housewives. That's been over, I don't even remember Monique. Okay. I remember she had a big fish aquarium. That's about it. Our memories are very short. We're very inexpensive DVRs with very little memory. Okay?
I agree. That's how Candiace is. She just doesn't let things go, and she will act like it's about something else, but it's like, no, this is still about that old thing, isn't it? And she's like, you didn't apologize correctly to me.
Yeah, and she's right.
Mm-hmm.
Portia was shitty, but it's like, how long do you need to go on about it, And Portia didn't really exactly say sorry or anything, but I don't know. I think she needs to go for things that people care more about.
Yes, she needs to pick the battles better.
Fight with high taxes. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. They get home and Whitney needs to run inside. She's got an emergency, and it makes Marisol like very suspect. She's like, maybe to move the bottle out of her room. These are my kind of people, though, because they just came from lunch and there's food out when they get in. They're like, oh, thank God, I'm starving. I'm like, yes, that is me. I don't care if I just ate. If there's a different type of food when I get in, I'll eat that too. Okay.
Yeah, I don't think they were even eating at the other lunch. So I think they see food
Good
now and
point.
they're like, oh, this isn't a lunch or a dinner. So probably they're not going to use any of this footage. Let's
Okay.
actually eat.
Yeah, good point. Candiace goes to Leah's room, and meanwhile, there's Gizelle telling now you got to poor West producer. She's like, "You're gonna go to Candiace's room and you're gonna check for that bottle." That poor guy just is like on a radio, not actually radioing anything, just like holding it up to his mouth, like, "Am I really about to send someone into Candiace's room to check for this?" And she's like, "She
Yeah.
said you could go. She said you could go in there." And you could tell he's getting something in his ear like, "No, we actually cannot go in there without her permission. Like, I don't think we
Yeah, we
got
can't
that
do
clearance."
that.
And he's like,
Yeah.
he's hearing something else. Like, they're listening to Gizelle say, "Go in there." And then there's someone else in his ear going, "We can't. No, we like for sure
Don't
know
do
she
that.
didn't. We know for
Yeah.
sure no one can go in there."
And that guy, by the way, hottest producer
Oh,
ever. Love you, whoever you are.
seriously.
Oh my
We need more
God, love
West on
you.
our screens.
Jeez.
Hello, West. I
So
know.
he's like, we'll have Pepsi do it. And Giselle goes, oh, but was Pepsi going to go through her luggage? I need someone invested in this, Wes. You are invested. Go in there and do it. She's terrible because she's the first one who's going to throw the producers under the bus too. And be like, well, I didn't do it. They did it.
Exactly. And Leah, Giselle goes into Leah's room. Right away, Leah goes, "Why does Portia hate me?" And Giselle's all thrown off. And she's like, "Listen, it's like third grade for you guys to be upset that, she didn't tag you." And Leah actually comes back pretty well. She goes, "No, it's third grade to tag everyone but 2 people." And then she goes,
Exactly.
"I mean, but look, I know that you're here to ask how I'm feeling." And Giselle goes, "Yes. Yes. How are you feeling?" "Okay, good.
How are you feeling? How are you feeling about crime? Crime in this country."
And she goes, "I was actually coming to go to Candiace's room because I'm sure she wants to get off the suspect list." And then it is off. Poor Pepsi. You see Pepsi go ask the producer, like, "Is she still looking for that bottle?" And this is where I kind of was like, oh no, I feel like he did throw it out. Either he drank the little last bit of it and threw it out, or someone on the staff to throw it out when they were like, "What's this?"
I think so too, because he's freaking out. Like he's freaking out. He's crying. Like he starts getting like, oh my God. He's like just sitting on the floor. Like, she's still so mad about this bottle. Oh my God.
He's on the floor crying.
I know. But at the same time, he should have just had another bottle bought and brought to the house.
And is it because maybe it is that hard to get for them? I don't know.
Maybe it is. Listen, I only heard on Reddit, so I don't know. That's not the Bible.
Yeah,
it's just the Bible where everything's true.
Yeah,
it's just Reddit. So Candiace goes into this. "Oh, what's wrong, sweetheart? Are Jamal Bryant's alimony checks not clearing? Why are you so pressed about this bottle? She needs a man, a hobby, because this is indicative of someone who's crying for help," which I would agree with.
And Candiace takes it to a place of, "I will not be accused of larceny." Now, multiple producers, like Gizelle literally went and got the EP, like, "Can you go tell her? Can you tell her we need to go into her room?" Like, "Gizelle, you look real foolish right now. This is like real embarrassing."
This is bad. And I don't love watching her talk to producers like this either. That's
Agreed.
Just ugly. And it's really, I think, what ended up getting Dorinda fired. And do you remember her last scene? Her last scene was in that glitter turban with makeup smeared all over her face, lipstick on her teeth, screaming and yelling at producers. Ooh.
It was such an ugly look. And it was like at the very, very end of the episode too. It was like the credits were rolling and there's just Dorinda. No. I know I'm not gonna do it. We're not gonna talk about Tinsley right now. Like that whole thing.
Yeah.
Pepsi is just crying in his confessional. I don't see any solution. I
mean, kind of caught himself. He goes, "I just don't see any solution." And he says, "I don't like them." To have rude conversation. It was like a big long pause. And I was like, is Pepsi finally fucking had it? Because he has had to go through so many hoops so far and listen to so much of their fighting. Because I feel like the other guy from last year didn't have to be involved in all of their stuff. He'd be like, "You leave, I'll see you in 8 hours." But Pepsi's on every trip. And I think he's just, losing his damn mind. You know, it's like, I hate these people.
Yeah, it's crazy making. It's literally crazy making to do this. Candiace calling Gizelle a Karen is accurate. It is an accurate. I mean,
It's
you are a
accurate.
Karen right now, girl. Because now it's like the principal.
Yes.
Now it's like, no, it's not about the money. It's the principal of who took the bottle. I'm like, well, that's what a Karen would say.
It is. She is very caring. Giselle gets that way a lot.
She gets very
But their
Karen-y.
last screaming match of the thing is Candiace saying, "Why is me telling you I don't have your bottle enough?" And Giselle's like, "Who do you want to go into your room with you?" And Candiace is like, "I don't need to prove anything." And she goes, "You looked suspect. Bye, suspect. Bye, suspect." And then Candiace is like, "Bye, green hoe, with your green ass," because she's wearing green. I love when those are Candiace's flat bags. You're in a green shirt. Bye, green hoe. Bye, person who likes green. Stupid green lover.
Burn.
Burn.
Burn. You got it, Candiace. Giselle's literally going,
Green
criminal, criminal. Like, do you hear yourself? You sound so
I love
insane.
bye, suspect. Bye.
There's like another producer who's got like a book in his hand. He's like, I am just over in Video Village trying to make sure the audio sounds okay. What are we doing? Like, Gizelle is literally going and getting everybody. Like, you tell Candiace she needs to do. And they're like, what?
So silly.
Yeah.
So this was episode what, 5?
Uh-huh.
This was 5, right? So how many are there in these seasons? Do you
I
know?
think there's usually like 8 or 9.
I think you're right. No, I'm enjoying this. This show cracks me up, and there's been a lot of complaints, like, you know, it's not as good because of the way they cast it with duos and this and that. But I don't know. I'm still laughing my ass off. So that's how I judge the show. What do you think overall?
I don't understand the complaints at all because I feel like Ultimate Girls Trip is like a nice reprieve from the intensity of the Normal Housewives seasons, you know, because it's the stakes aren't as high. I had a hard time with the Dorinda season because Dorinda is just so much. So I was gonna recap it, but I did one hate recap where I just was like, I hate her and I can't handle it. And people wanted me to do more, but I'm like, for my mental health, I can't. I can't. I just can't handle her. So I'm grateful that we get this, like, I mean, obviously we're watching a serious fight, but I find this to be lighthearted and enjoyable because it's just like, this is kind of what we wanted to see, I thought. We wanted just to see all of these different franchises mingling, doing like the silly cast trip things, getting in fights out in public and embarrassing themselves in a new country.
Yes, exactly. So, I mean, for me, it's fulfilling the whole. It's fulfilling the need that I have inside of me. I think it's great content, and I think people are going to look back and I think this all the time. Like, you don't really realize what you have until it's gone. Like, years later, I mean, that New York season when they fired half the cast and it was Carol, Aviva, Heather, I think those were it was like half the cast was new, and people were like, fuck this show. How could they? They ruined Housewives. I'll never watch this again. And then now thinking back, that was one of the funniest seasons with some of the greatest memories. And guys, just like look around, not even your life, because your life probably does suck and isn't worth remembering, but look around the Housewives universe and realize what you have, okay?
On that note, thank you so much for being here, Ronnie.
Thank you. It was so good to meet you. I hope we get to hang out when I come to LA. Are you in LA proper?
I am. I'm in Encino. I'm in.
I'm
very close to Dorit. Well, I mean, I'm in the poor part.
Richards.
So yeah, when you come to LA, I would love to see you.
Yes, for sure. We'll go to whichever Vanderpump restaurant is not closed because of a fire or a alcohol license non-payment or whatever.
I know, right? Tell the people where they can find you, follow you, even though it's obvious at this point.
Well, Watch What Crappens. Follow us on Instagram. Just go to watchwhatcrappens.com. All our links are there. We're on tour right now, so links for that are there. And then I'm at Ronnie Karam on Insta, and you should definitely talk to Ben. That is one sweetheart of a man. He's such a sweet guy. I want you to meet him too. We can all
Yeah.
go party together, okay?
Yeah, maybe next time I'll have both of you on. It was just a little easier for me to do one at a time. That's what she said.
No, I know.
I couldn't resist.
Well, I
had
would
to-
disagree with her. I would
Oh.
disagree with her because I
Oh.
love a nice timeout. You're doing great, guys. You're doing great over there. Anybody need a towel?
All right, guys, we'll be here all week. See you next time.
Yeah, right. Bye.
Bye. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. If you did, would you mind leaving me a 5-star rating and review on whatever platform you are listening? If you're watching on YouTube, don't forget there's the super thanks option down at the bottom, the little button with the $ and the heart. And also I'm on buymeacoffee.com/SheSpeaksBravo if you want to buy me a little coffee or 2 or 5. And my Patreon, that is where I'm covering all of the classic Bravo jams. If you want to follow me over there and subscribe, link is in the description. And follow me on Instagram and TikTok at She Speaks Bravo. And whoever the guest was for today, all their information is always in the episode description. So if you want to follow them and check them out, check there for the info. And any of the sponsor codes that I mentioned in this episode will also be in the description. I love you guys. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. And I'll see you next time. Bye.